Today's World of Warships video is sponsored by World of Warships. And this is going to make my job easy because, well, let's face it, if you're here, you already know exactly what World of Warships is about. And this is the console version, World of Warships Legends. Available on PlayStation and Xbox, but the nature of this particular sponsorship involves you having the opportunity to get your hands on something a little bit extra. Because World of Warships Legends is doing a collaboration with World of Tanks Modern Armour, with the free United Force DLC giving players across both console titles access to two new premium vehicles, a French destroyer and a British heavy tank. In addition, newcomers to either game will get a welcome pack including, but not limited to, the US Navy Tier 3 premium battleship, the USS Arkansas, and the German Navy Tier 3 premium cruiser, the Karlsruhe, as well as a whole bunch of other things besides. And both titles are, of course, just as free to play on console as they are here on PC. So if you have yourself a PlayStation or an Xbox and you're not already taking advantage of either World of Tanks Modern Armour or World of Warships Legends, now's a really good time to start. And now that the bills have been paid, it's back to World of Warships PC, where today, in this episode of the Game of Throws, we are featuring a Tier 8 ranked battle, domination mode, here on the New Dawn map. 6 versus 6, both teams have 3 battleships, 2 cruisers, 1 destroyer. There are 3 capture points. And here in the USS Tennessee, we have Korik 101. I want to say that the enemy team, I don't want to go so far as to say they have superior battleships, but I believe they do definitely have a distinct advantage over the battleships on Korik's team, Tennessee here included, because all 3 of the enemy battleships, the Massachusetts, the Atlantico and the Brandenburg, have exceptionally good secondaries. The battleships on Korik's team, well, the Tennessee doesn't, the Amagi definitely doesn't. They do have a Brandenburg of their own though. The enemy team also have something of a cruiser advantage in that they're the only team that have radar, the Baltimore. And neither of the 2 cruisers, the Hipper or the Albemarle on Korik's team, come with that consumable, although the Hipper does get very, very good hydro. And the Brandenburg, surprisingly, does not. The Brandenburg's a fairly popular pick. It's a very good ship. It's essentially a Bismarck, but with 12-inch rather than 15-inch guns. So lower caliber, it's got a lot of them, and they do come with a very fast, I think, 26.5 second reload. The Tennessee, however, while it does have bigger guns than the Brandenburg, they are only 14 inches. The Amagi is the only battleship on the team with big guns, the 16 inches. Although the Tennessee does get 12 of them, and the reload isn't bad. It's not as fast as the Brandenburg, but it's faster than the Amagi, which, you know, it makes sense. It's consistent. Its guns are larger caliber than the Brandenburg, but not as large caliber as the Amagi's. So that initial salvo at the enemy Brandenburg was, well, he gave way too much lead. He's switching fire to the Ignacio Allende over there. Oh, that looks much, much better, actually. Shots are out. In fact, that looks very good. Very good in oof. Oh, that was a paddling. And there's the first blood award. With one hell of a devastating strike. So, excellent start. Although the enemy team are going for the cap circles. Well, to be fair, the friendly Benson was also going for the cap circle, but it looks like he got scared off by the enemy Cossack. So the enemy team have taken Alpha. Bravo is still open, and the enemy team are in the process of flipping Charlie. So, despite the early points lead, they're either going to need to... Oh, that was pretty good as well, actually, on the enemy Brandenburg. He's only fired 3 salvos. He's already up to 46,000 damage with 1 kill. The enemy team do have 2 of the cap circles, however. So despite this initial points lead, and they are flipping Bravo, they're going to need to either keep this up or start taking some of these caps. Preferably, of course, both. Looks like we've got some decent shots out there against the enemy Massachusetts. Well, yeah, decent. Not great, but decent. It'll do. 56,000 damage, another 10,000 there. They really do need to keep this pressure up, though. There's a lot of this ships getting in each other's way in today's battle. The Hipper cutting across Korik's bows there, and there was a bit of a kerfuffle at the beginning when they were moving into position. But, I mean, you know, no harm done. The Hipper saw him. and was able to avoid a collision. Another reasonable hit on the Massachusetts. Oh, the Hipper just took a massive... oh, yeah. I think the enemy team are about to equalise. Yep, the Hipper's gone down. Took a beating from the Massachusetts. Shots coming in from across the map. Relatively minor damage done. If you can get the guns reloaded before the Massachusetts gets into cover behind the island, well, yeah, a couple of hits. Better than nothing. So the enemy team have equalised the kills, and the Benson has managed to flip the cap circle at Alpha, but the enemy team still hold Bravo and Charlie. And that cap difference is really going to start to show in the points sooner rather than later, unless they can either sink more ships or flip another one of those cap circles. And given the team's positioning, because they're all, well, pretty much clustered up here around Alpha, the one cap circle that they actually have, it's going to be pretty hard for them to flip any of those other caps. Shots out against the Atlantico. Actually, that wasn't bad at all. Another 14,000 damage. The friendly Brandenburg over there is getting farmed by the enemy Cossack from that smoke screen over to the right of the screen. He's yelling for somebody to hydro him up. But I mean, I don't know who he expects to do it, because the only ship on the team that had hydro was the Hipper, and he's dead. I mean, the Albemarle might have hydro, but he may also have defensive fire. And either way, he's been taking a beating and is retiring to the north in an effort to try to stay alive. So there ain't nobody going to be hydroing that Cossack for you. Oh, Massachusetts, you just committed a serious... It was at this moment that the Massachusetts knew he'd fucked up. Corrick's second kill, and the team needed the points, because despite the 1 kill lead, due to the disparity in cap circle possession, they are still behind. For once in a World of Warships replay, the scores are not actually flipped. What you see there at the top of the screen is what it is. Unfortunately, the Brandenburg did go down, finished off by the Atlantico over their secondaries after being farmed from the safety of the smokescreen by the Benson. Corey gets another good hit on the Atlantico, but now he's being crossfired. That's the Benson. There are going to be torpedoes on the way, and the one thing about the Tennessee that it shares in common with the USS New Mexico, it is actually a development. The Tennessees were developments of the New Mexico class, and they're very, very slow. So, kind of difficult to get out of the way of torpedoes. I mean, the manoeuvrability isn't that bad, due to the sort of squat and fat nature of the ships, but they're not fast. The Atlantico's just nailed the Amagi, putting the enemy team nearly 300 points ahead, but even though he's healing up, he is on low health, and it's enough for the 2 rear turrets to finish him off, securing Corrick's 3rd kill, and once again, equalising the kills, if not the scores, and just equalising the kills isn't going to be remotely good enough, with the enemy team so far ahead on points and with 2 of the 3 cap circles, and the team still nowhere near actually flipping any of those remaining caps. Look at the position of the Albemarle, all the way up there to the northeast. I mean, he was getting focused pretty heavily by the Baltimore and the Massachusetts, which is why he retired all the way up to the north in order to go undetected and rejoin the fight. But he really, really does need to rejoin the fight, because he's not doing the team a whole lot of good all the way up there. Somebody's flipping Alpha. It's going to be the Cossack, isn't it? So the Benson, he's going to at least try to get in there, but with the Baltimore making an unwelcome appearance, and with his radar, he's going to make life very, very difficult for the Benson to do anything about the Cossack flipping that cap. The enemy team are 300 points ahead again, and unless they can interrupt that Cossack, or kill him, or force him out of the cap circle, they're now going even further behind. The Benson is clearly radared. I mean, the smokescreen isn't doing him any good. And of course, with the Benson smoking up, now they've lost sight of everybody, including the Baltimore. This is not good. So the enemy team still have a Cossack, which, for my money, is a better destroyer than a Benson. They have a Brandenburg, which, for my money, is a better battleship than a Tennessee. And they still have a Baltimore, which, arguably, because it has radar, is a better cruiser than the Albemarle. Oh, there's the Brandenburg, and it is a nice big juicy broadside for him to shoot at, but then the Cossack pops up pursuing the Benson, and honestly I think the Cossack is probably the bigger threat. He switches ammo to high explosive. There's the torpedoes. And I forget the name of the skill, but he's obviously got the one that reduces the reload when you switch ammunition types, because there's a full salvo of high explosive. Wow, 12 shots to... I mean, it's a small target, but 2 hits out of 12. I mean, it starts a fire, but the Cossack has obviously used the damage control because he's no longer on fire, and now he's smoked up. Well, I suppose the good news is that the Cossack is no longer spotting the Benson, but, well, the Baltimore is, because the radar's active. Which means the Cossack, even though he's smoked up, can still see targets to shoot at. Okay, 3 penetrations with a 14-inch high explosive and a double fire, and we know that the Cossack's damage control is on cooldown. So Korik, crossing his fingers and hoping that that is going to be enough, switches back to the armor piercing. Oh, Baltimore, you don't want to be doing that. It was at this moment that the Baltimore realised that he'd fucked up. But there's the Cossack torpedoes, and oh, he's taken 2. I thought he would get away with 1. He's down to 500 hit points, immediately triggers the heal. But there's no way the Brandenburg is going to let him get away with this. He's obviously being focused by the Brandenburg's secondaries. The second the Brandenburg's guns reload, it's going to be launching armor piercing at him. He's got to try to finish off the Cossack. Shots are out. Come on. There's a fire. He's got him. The damage control was still on cooldown, or just 1 tick of the fire was enough to kill him before he could activate the damage control. But the Cossack is down. It cost him his life, but that's the Kraken Unleashed, and 133,000 damage done. Kraken Unleashed, by the way, 5 kills, in a game mode where there are only 6 enemies. And that just leaves his 2 surviving teammates, the Benson and the Albemarle, against the Brandenburg. And these 2 teammates are going to have to think on their feet. Because that's a more or less full health Brandenburg. With 2 of the 3 cap points, the Albemarle is flipping bravo. Good job, Albemarle. But the Brandenburg with 2 cap points is now slightly more than 100 points away from winning. Which means Korik's 2 teammates are going to have to take both of the remaining cap circles within the next minute, in order to prevent the Brandenburg from just winning on points. And the Brandenburg, you know, that's not bad reactions from a battleship which doesn't actually get hydro. Kind of surprising amongst high-tier German battleships, but the Brandenburg doesn't get it. But that was a good torpedo dodge from the Albemarle's torpedoes. Here's the thing. The Benson could arguably run south to Cap Circle Charlie and flip that. But it wouldn't be enough, because the Brandenburg's now less than 70 points away from winning. And he'd probably be on 1,000 points, and this would be game over before the Benson even got there. So taking Cap Circle Charlie is out of the question, and with the Brandenburg holding on to Cap Circle Alpha, well, taking Alpha's kind of out of the question too, which means the Albemarle and the Benson need to kill that Brandenburg in order to win the battle. And they are 2 torpedo-armed vessels that have superior stealth, so you might think it wouldn't be that hard. And whether he's doing it on purpose or by accident, the Benson does keep getting himself spotted by the Brandenburg, but he is also suckering the Brandenburg into the Albemarle's torpedoes. I'm pretty sure at this point the Brandenburg's teammates were yelling at him, "No, what are you doing? Just run away. You're trying to throw the game." And I think he might have been trying to throw the game. But trying and succeeding are 2 different things. And in the ultimate slap in the face, they kill him anyway. Mere seconds after the Brandenburg kind of fumbles his way to 1,000 points and wins anyway, despite himself. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. I'm not entirely sure the Brandenburg deserved the win, because he desperately tried to throw it at the end, but, well, you know, if you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be playing World of Warships. 5 kills in a 6-ship battle, and you still couldn't win, even after the rest of your team finished off the lone surviving enemy, and it's still a defeat. That's got to sting. Korik, please accept my commiserations. But well played, even though it wasn't even close to being enough. Well, it was fairly close, but it still wasn't enough. Hope you all enjoyed it. Maybe enjoyed isn't the right word. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.